Hello, y'all. Good afternoon. For the injury report, Cam Fleming and Justin Simmons will be limited. KJ Hamler will not practice, and Darius Phillips will not practice.
With KJ, that was something that occurred during practice yesterday?
Yes. Yep. It was a non-contact deal, and just sometimes it happens.
How about Baron Browning? Where does he stand?
Right now, he's day-to-day.
Is he going to practice today?
No, he's not. Sorry.
Just,
Yeah, that didn't
sorry,
change.
apologies. Just to circle back on KJ, day-to-day as well with him, or do you?
We're going to evaluate it. It's a hamstring, so those things, we have to be sure we're smart with, so we'll see how it moves forward.
One thing George said to us over the bye week there, he said that Alberto will be needed in the second half. What does he have to do in order to kind of work his way back into the mix of things offensively?
I think in the end that group is unbelievably competitive. That we've got 5 guys in there that are all capable of playing in this league and do a really good job. I think that he just has to continually get better. And everybody competes against each other in that room. It's a friendly competition, but at the same time it's to make our team better. And he's got to compete with those guys to get out on the field.
How do you balance, you've talked about the need to stack wins and get things going. How do you balance that versus staying in that week-to-week, game-to-game mindset with the guys?
It's always week to week. For us, you're judged each week on how you do. And for us, it's just getting over that hump, just not having those self-inflicted wounds, being able to make a couple plays here and there, which is going to let us continually win. So obviously we want to stack them up. That's what you have to do to get into the playoffs. That's what you have to do at some point during the season. Even if you want to go to where you want to go, you have to win a lot of games in the playoffs. So, we got to win some back-to-back, but it starts with this week, and that's what we focus on.
Coach, there's been a lot made about Russell Wilson's wristband, but he did wear it against Jacksonville. He did wear it in practice yesterday. What are the advantages of wearing it?
There's a couple different things. As a play designer, sometimes you want to get a little creative, and those things can get a little bit verbose. So you don't, you want to have it so it's easier instead of having to call it and then communicate it. There's a whole process from when I give it to him to when he has to process it to when he's got to go in there. So sometimes we get a little elaborate on those things because we're trying to sometimes get a little crazy. So it allows you to do that. I think it also helps with crowd noise. If you have crowd noise going from him listening to me, he just has to hear one wristband number, and then he can go in there and communicate it to the guys properly. So there's a lot of different things that it's good for.
How did you come about making that change then?
Like we've said from the very beginning, we've been looking at everything and kind of thinking of anything we can do to help our process, help our offense, do whatever we have to do, whether that's going to be reason why we win or lose a game. Looking back at the Jacksonville game, I don't know, but we just always want to evaluate everything and try to find a way to get better. And if that's going to help us get better, then we want to do it.
Was Russell ever resistant to it?
No. It's just one of those things we decided collectively as a group that it would help us.
With Pat Surtain, obviously no interceptions, but he's just not being thrown at a lot. Are interception totals for corners now, maybe they don't tell the full story in terms of what you're looking at?
I agree with what you're saying. It's a great point. He's an unbelievable football player. An unbelievable person, and then his work ethic, everything that he does, he's playing at a very high level, and I wouldn't really blame people for not trying to throw over there because of his skill set. But I don't think you can entirely judge that on someone. If somebody's getting a lot of picks, maybe they're getting the ball thrown to him a whole bunch. Maybe it was a tipped ball. There's a lot of things that go into an interception. So I know where Pat is, and he's an unbelievable player regardless of what the stats say.
Do you think with advanced analytics now, maybe there's a greater appreciation for that than 10, 15, 20 years ago?
Maybe for the outside world. I think for us as coaches, when we watch it, you can see the players that are unbelievable and the ones you kind of want to stay away from, sometimes the ones that you want to attack. And Pat's not necessarily one that you want to challenge too many times. You don't want to poke the bear.
On the other side, Damari Mathis has come on the last few games. In what ways have you seen him improve since he got thrust into the lineup?
What's great about Damari is it's one play at a time for him. We saw that game that he had a bunch of penalties. People went after him, and he had 2 ways to look at it. He could have put his head down and be upset about that situation, or he could step up and continue to play and get better, and that's what he did. That's what is so great to see with a young player. Whenever you get a rookie out there, you want to see a guy that's not going to panic, that's going to play as hard as he possibly can within the rules, and sometimes you get the call, sometimes you don't. And I think that's what's so great to see about him, is that when that happened, he just stepped up to it and has gotten even better.
Is the wristband a game-by-game situation, or are you just going forward with it now?
It could be. I think for us, I think if it helps, then why not use it? Right now, we're 1-0 with it. So, hey, let's move forward. A lot of quarterbacks use it across the league. It's one of those things is if it gives you some kind of advantage or helps you, then we want to do everything we can.
Does it allow you to stay in Russell's ear longer if you guys break the huddle sooner, where you can then stay?
It can, yes, it definitely can. I mean, again, there's so many different things why people have gone to it. Some people have gone to it because they want to call multiple plays in one, and so they could read that whole thing off. So it's just how offenses have advanced. I mean, originally when it started back in the olden days, I mean, plays were very simple. The quarterbacks had to memorize the formation, so they'd call the play, and then they'd have to know which formation to go to based off that play. So it's kind of evolved to now we got the headsets, and now we're getting more elaborate with our play designs, and so there's so many different things that go into it.
Are there
Jalen suited up. Jalen Virgil suited up for the first time in London, didn't play. But do you see him getting closer to potentially being able to help you, particularly if you have to go without a guy like KJ?
I do. I mean, he has to. I mean, just like anytime somebody gets injured, it's the next man up. And I think that he's done a good job up to this point, working hard, studying, working hard on the practice field for scout team looks and jumping in with us for the when the ones are going. But, I mean, for him, it might be time. And he's got to get out there and show us all the things that he's got.
You've had a few days. You've had a few days to see kind of the new guys get acclimated. Chase Edmonds, Jacob Martin. What have you noticed from them the first couple of days as they try to learn a new system?
Both of them work very hard. I mean, they both picked it up really well up to this point. They definitely bring a lot of juice out on that field. I mean, they both can run really, really fast, and that's always exciting from a coach's perspective. But I give him the most credit, especially a guy like Chase who had the bye. He had to make a decision on how hard he was going to work, and I mean, he's picked it up really well, which is what you're hoping for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Coach.